Tonight we're going to be hallucinating Shakespeare. I'm Michael Anderson. This is Anna Waldron, Daniel Berger-Jones, and Paula Plum. Richard III is Shakespeare's first great comedy. And look, I know that there are still some people that say it's a tragedy, but no. Think about it. A tragedy is where people get killed and you feel sorry for them. In Richard III, a lot of people get killed and you don't feel sorry for any of them. That's not tragedy, my friends. That's entertainment. And the best production of Richard III I ever saw was at a summer camp. My 12-year-old nephew, Ray, got together with his best friend, Piwo, parents from South Africa, and Danny, whose parents are from New Jersey. And they signed up for 3 weeks with the Royal Shakespeare Company, where they teach the kids how to speak and understand and project the verse. And at the end of the camp, they have a big public performance where the kids divide and perform scenes for all their loving family and friends. And the boys ask for something really violent, and they get it. The murder of the Duke of Clarence from Richard III. Now, this is a delicious scene, because the Duke of Clarence is the original upper-class twin. He's Richard's snobby older brother. He's like Fraser Crane, as played by Sir John Gielgud. And Richard sets him up secretly to be thrown into the Tower of London. And even though Richard tells him, I'm going to get you out of jail, he sends in a couple of hitmen to finish the job. Now, if there is one rule in Shakespeare, it is that paid assassins are never very bright. See, instead of just walking in and killing him immediately, they have to get into an argument with the guy. I mean, this is the mistake that Batman villains always make. That if you're going to cut Robin in half with an atomic laser, just do it. There is no point in discussing it with him first. And even after they start stabbing him, the Duke goes on and on for 5 pages in the folio until they finally have to drown him in a vat of wine, a Malmsey butt. And it's not even a political assassination at this point. They're just trying to make him shut up. And if you ask someone from the Royal Shakespeare Company why it is that Duke gets such a long death scene, they will tell you something like this.
The text indicates that this speech does not take place in real time.
Yes, this is a moment of character development, not violence.
Shakespeare pauses the action to allow the Duke to pour out the poetry.
And, okay, excuse me, but that's bullshit. See, when Shakespeare wants his characters to die, they die. When Hamlet stabs Polonius through the curtain, Polonius gets 4 words.
Oh, I'm slain!
When the senators make Swiss cheese out of Julius Caesar, he gets 3 words in Latin and 3 words in English.
Et tu, Brute, then for Caesar.
And that was the title character of the play. So when some bit player like the Duke of Clarence goes down in the middle of Act 1, but still goes on and on and on, I don't think that's a metaphor. I think the text indicates that the stabbers just aren't very good at it. So while they're rehearsing, the boys decide that they're going to send Ray to the camp counselors to say, hey, maybe when I play the Duke, maybe I can have That's bullshit. This is a guy who wrote plays about shipwrecks and hurricanes and cavalry charges. There are severed heads on stage. Eyes are gouged out. Hands are chopped off. There's a murder by suffocation, a suicide by snake. Witches conjure up apparitions. Ghosts wander across the stage like it's the spooky house in Scooby-Doo. This is not a guy who had a problem with cheap special effects. And besides, it is unforgivably cruel to tell a 12-year-old boy that he is going to be stabbed to death in front of all his family and friends, and yet deny him the privilege of a bag of fake blood. So, in the spirit of Richard III, the boys decide that they're just going to disobey. In the morning of the final show, I'm sitting in his mother's kitchen when Ray pulls out the biggest Ziploc bag he can find, kind of hot did. And Sapiwo and Danny show up with grocery bags full of tomato paste and ketchup and V8 juice. And they gather around the blender going, until it's just the right consistency. And they pour it all into the bag until it's full to bursting. And they strap Ray's naked chest with an entire roll of duct tape. And they squeeze him into one of his father's extra-large t-shirts. Now, and it's a lovely show, really it is, with, high school cheerleaders doing the Hermia Helena cat fight from Midsummer Night's Dream, and the football team is playing St. Crispin's Day, and then the camp counselor says,
And now we will have Ray Ferris, Sapiwo Mandakile, and Danny Torricelli performing Act 1, Scene 4 of Richard III, The Murder of the Duke of Clarence.
And the curtain rises on Ray, looking as much like Sir John Gielgud as a 12-year-old boy can, who has 3 gallons of fake blood strapped to his chest. And then the murderers come in, and here it actually helps that Sapiwo and Danny look a lot like Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. Your eyes do menace me. Why look you so pale? Who sent you hither? Wherefore have you come? And at this point, Shakespeare actually has the murderers forget their lines. And the Duke actually has to prompt them to murder me?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
And then the argument starts.
So you're bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
Well, you betrayed the king.
Well, at least I have a college degree, and I take a bath now and then. And then the Duke pulls out his trump card. He says, you don't want to hurt me, because my brother Richard said that he was going to get me out of here, and you don't want to make him angry. And then Sapiwo gets that psychotic glare in his eye.
Thou deceivest thyself, for 'tis he who sent us hither to slaughter thee.
And Ray is so close to the stabbing he can taste it. It cannot be, for when we last parted, he hugged me in his arms and swore with sobs that he would labor my delivery. And Danny gets the first whack at the piñata.
Why, so he doth. Now he delivers thee from this world's thraldom to the joys of heaven.
And Sapiwo follows up with,
Make peace with God, my lord, for you must die.
and they all look down at Ray's chest. And it's only now that they realize that they have used way too much duct tape. And the retractable blades on these stage daggers just aren't making any headway into the bag. And that is when the Duke starts to pour out all the poetry in his soul. Hast thou that holy feeling in thy soul that can counsel me to make my peace with God? And art thou yet to thine own soul so blind that thou wilt war with God by murdering me? Sapio and Danny don't know what to say, except for the very lines that Shakespeare has written for them.
What shall we do now?
And the Duke grabs at Danny's wrist and goes, "Relent, ha! Relent, ha! And save your souls!" And Sapio is trying to get in at the back from the side.
Relent, ha! 'Tis cowardly and womanish.
And then Ray explodes into the aria. "Not to relent is beastly and savage and devilish. Oh, sir, I spy in thy look some touch of pity. Oh, if thine eye be not flatterer, come thou on my side and entreat for me. Oh, as you would beg, bring me my distress. A begging prince, what beggar pities not?" And then, out of pity, the second murderer hikes the Duke across his back like a knapsack, so that Ray is splayed like a dragonfly in the courtyard. And Sapio is going to take one last stab at it.
Take that, and that if all this will not do, I'll drown you in the Maltese, but within.
And with one final stroke, the Duke of Clarence's chest detonates all over Sapio's face and his hair and his eyes. Danny suddenly has 3 gallons of tomato sauce pouring down the back of his underwear. And Ray is one big ink blot. And he oozes off the second murderer's back with intention. Emotional commitment. And goes splat right into the puddle, spraying droplets of V8 juice 12 rows into the crowd, smearing the lenses of a dozen family video cameras. And the Royal Shakespeare Company is on its feet.
Hey!
Hey!
That's not text-based acting.
And Sapio and Danny are standing there, drenched in blood, like the prom scene in Carrie. And they can't think of what to say, except for the very lines that Shakespeare has written for them.
A bloody deed, and desperately dispatched.
And Danny looks like he just got called into the principal's office.
How fain, like Pilate, would I washed my hands of this most grievous, guilty murder done.
And they grab the Duke by his ankles and they drag him off the stage, leaving a long red trail like a slug. And they had to call an unscheduled 10-minute intermission just to mop the stage down, because you cannot have Romeo and Juliet slipping in the Duke of Clarence's gore. And they asked Ray and Sapio and Danny never to come back to Camp Shakespeare. But I say that's bullshit. Because you've seen authentic Shakespeare when they have to hose the blood off the stage and when the audience has been laughing at what is supposed to be a tragedy. There are 1,222 distinct characters in Shakespeare. And of this number, 138 have a magical power. They speak exactly one line.
They are usually commoners. They usually don't even have names. They're identified by their job titles: the hostess, the third watchman, the second attendant. They speak their truth only once. There is an entire world in their one line.
Like the lower classes, they don't really talk much because they're busy. Right? They have duties to fulfill. All the leads are all aristocrats: Prince Hamlet, King Lear, Lady Macbeth. They don't have jobs. They have no responsibilities to anyone else, so they just prattle on about themselves for hours.
But the pages The maidservants, the guys holding spears by the door, they are mysterious and succinct. Give you an example. By the end of the Scottish play, Macbeth is in a blind rage. All the witch's prophecies turn out to have loopholes.
No man of woman born shall harm Macbeth. But get this, his enemy's mother had a C-section.
Wait, why doesn't that count?
Just go with it, don't ask.
Macbeth shall never vanquished be till Birnam Wood shall come against him. But now the enemy is coming at him, camouflaged in the trees.
But why wouldn't that count?
Don't ask, just go with it.
Now, a messenger has to report this to Macbeth, but he's terrified. You don't want to be the guy that gives Comrade Stalin the bad news. So he says,
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
okay, if messenger is just a plot device, is just a transitional moment in the narrative, this is a throwaway line. A telegram for Mr. Macbeth. The messenger is a real person. Fears, maybe a wife and kid. And now his king gone insane. He's gonna suffer consequences. Macbeth is gonna kill him. And besides, they're all gonna die anyway. And this line sums up the whole in sentence.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I said I saw, but know not how to do it.
So we give you the top 10 one-line characters in Shakespeare. After each one speaks, you will give them a thunderous ovation.
Do we each other? Number 10, the soldier in Henry VI, Part 3. The House of York has finally won the War of Roses. Now Edward, the eldest York brother, can declare himself king. But he can't just he has to make it look legitimate. So they trot out some poor foot random, and they make him a proclamation. And the first photo gives this as Edward IV, by the grace of God, of England and France and Lord Ireland, etc. And there's a debate among the editors. Some say that etc. is obviously just shorthand. Faith, protector of the realm, etc. Like it's a fancy coronation, except it's not. They're on a field, spat of blood, and some nameless by scary nobles, and he is told that he has the honors. And it is so much more truthful if you play the scene as written. The soldier is scared, he's barely literate, he thinks that etc. is another Latin honorific, so he actually etc.
Sound trumpet, Edward here proclaimed. Come, soldier, make thou proclamation.
Edward the Fourth, by the great grace of God, King of England, France, and Lord of our Ireland.
So in common years, John was bankrupt in a foreign jail. The Duke of Hillsborough jailer says, I will, my lord.
Now, if you play it straight, this is a Igor. He becomes the best character in the play.
Beg thou or borrow to make up the sum and live. If no, then thou art doomed to die. Jailer, take him to thy custody.
I will, my lord.
The best character in Timon of Athens is a sex worker. She gets one line.
Timon thinks he's rich. He thinks everyone loves him. He doesn't think he's going bankrupt, and his friends are just out for money.
He throws a party. A bunch of ladies show up and start flirting with him. Ton thinks it's because he's so cool and sexy. He doesn't get that they are prostitutes.
You have done our pleasures much grace, fair ladies. Fashion or entertainment.
My lord, you take us there. One-line characters get to say dangerous things, truth to power in short little bursts.
Away with it because it's over before anyone realizes what's happened.
An English herald in Henry V gets the most political line in the play. During the battle scenes, Henry orders his men to execute their French prisoners. Henry says 3 different times, kill the prisoner. But Laurence Olivier...
It would have been
A major character could never accuse an English king of murder. Shakespeare would get arrested for treason.
So he does it quick and fast, hit and run, a drive-by shooting, a one-line nobody.
Henry asks a herald for the number of the French dead, but Harold spits it back at him.
Now, Harold, are the dead numbered?
Here's number of the slaughtered French.
Sometimes it's a line. You can bet he's a ridiculous twit.
So in Henry VI, Part 2, pirates capture a couple of gentlemen, and they are hilariously stupid.
The talking. The second, but it's calm.
What is my ransom, master? Let me know.
1,000 crowns, or else lay down your head.
I'll give it, sir, and therefore spare my life.
And so will I, and right home for it straight.
When things are weird, Macbeth comes back to the Wiz for some more advice. So they conjure up some actions.
Macbeth wants it spooky. Strobe lights, thunderclaps, total Halloween stuff. But the first apparition comes only out of the
The Thane of Fife, dismiss me enough.
By the way, I said ovation. Number 4, Shakespeare invented the Three Stooges. Coriolanus, 3 Roman soldiers go looting and pillaging. They run on stage with their arms full of plunder, and the first looters have all the swag, but the
This will I carry to Rome!
Oh, plague on it! I took this for...
Number 3, the Three Stooges show up in Antony and Cleopatra.
This is like the sequel to Julius Caesar. First play, Brutus suicide after he loses the war. Friends to hold a sword while he runs into it. But they refuse. Love him too much.
In the sequel, though, Antony is a womanizing blowhard. Everybody hates him.
So after he loses the war, when he asks his guards to kill him, no one will lift a finger. Because they love him too much? Because they don't love him.
Not
I.
Nor anyone.
Is my all-time favorite rebel who takes over London and Mao Zedong.
He decides to call himself Lord Mortimer. He swears Dad calls him Arcade, except a courier runs in who didn't get the memo.
Now is Mortimer, Lord of Tea, and here, sitting upon London stone, I charge and command. Now, henceforward, it shall be treason for anyone that calls me other than Lord. Knock him down there! Kill, 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 kill.
If this fellow be wise, he'll now call me Jack Cade Moore. I think he hath fair warning.
But number one-line character in Shakespeare has got to be the third musician, Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet has just found dead in her bed. Apparently dead. Note that it's fake poison.
Florence arrives for Juliet's first wedding with 3 musicians.
Okay, third
Well, tis no time to play now.
but the head servant to get them to play as a distraction. Musicians, musicians, play some music with her silver sound. What silver sound? What say you, Simon Catlin?
Marry, sir, because silver own.
Gee, what say you, Hugh Rebeck?
I say silver sound because musicians for silver.
Pretty too. What's the name, Soundpost?
Faith, I know what to say.
The distinction between an exclamation question not very clear. And this is a problem for the first folio, which has always been taken to give et tu, Brute as a question. But this is the entire meaning of the play. Because what it does is it makes Caesar just a old man, late stage Joe Biden. Like, how could you do this? I saw it to Brute, which is so out of character. Play means unless you understand Caesar as a badass guy who just won a war, like General Sherman, General Zhukov, or General Patton. Caesar loves the smell of napalm in the morning. And it has Caesar dying with his final breath that he is saying what Plutarch was saying. Shakespeare did not invent et tu, Brute. It appears in Plutarch and not as a question. The Greek technon, you too, which is not a whiny little question. It is a prophecy, a threat. This will happen to you too, Brutus, which suddenly makes so much sense that when the ghost comes back, it is very important that he's back as some nursing home resident in a cloak. He's got to be totally frightening, which is only possible in exclamation point. Two. Okay, thank you. Abraham assassinated. See, Wilkes Booth was really famous before he killed Lincoln. He was like one of the top Shakespearean actors in America, along with his older brothers, Junius and President, remember your name, right? It's kind of the point here, okay? Booth knew who he was. It was like as if Clint Eastwood had killed Obama, you know? And like he's playing in all these Shakespeare plays until November 1864. He and his brothers do a one-night benefit performance of Shakespeare. Edwin Booth was in charge of the casting and cast him as Brutus. He cast as Cassius, Mark Antony to the younger brother, John Wilkes. And even in the publicity photos, you can see John Wilkes with resentment, just looking daggers at his brother. God damn it! And he wasn't really political before November of 1864. But after this atrociously unfair casting decision, he started to think, gosh, if only there was an authority figure that I could assassinate to finally get to be Brutus. And that night in Ford's Theater, when he shoots Lincoln, he does it on the stage, and he's avenged himself. It had nothing to do with, like, you know, avenging the defeat of the Confederacy. It had to do with fixing his brother's fucked up casting decision.
What, my dear Lady Disdain, are you yet living?
I pray you, is it your will that make a stale of me?
Can't you medicate her?
Lady Macbeth, you're not being very ladylike. Time for your pill.
Ladylike? I'm sick of this patriarchal bullshit. What's my name? Seriously, what is my first name, guys? You see, you don't even...
Lady.
Lady? Juliet or Rosalind or Viola, but who cares? I'm just my husband's property, just a voice in his head, the fourth witch.
So which is it? Schizophrenia or histrionic narcissism?
Look, if I don't have any moral agency, you can't blame me for what my husband does.
This is a prologue or the posy of a ring. 'Tis brief, as woman's love.
I'm not taking that from you, you little chicken shit. At least I had the guts to go through with it. But when it comes to your uncle, the one person you actually should be killing, suddenly it's, that this too solid flesh would melt. Man up, my guy. Art thou feared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire?
Are you getting your period?
My God! Make thick my blood, stop up the axis, and passage to remorse.
See, what did I tell you?
Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes on her.
See what breeds about her heart. Is there any cause in nature that makes these hard hearts?
Idle old man.
Recreant.
Now, by my life, old fools are babes again.
Come not between the dragon and his wrath, you little punk.
What's what thou do, old man?
I will have such revenges on you both. I will do such things. What they are yet I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth.
If Mr. Lear doesn't want to take his medication orally, I'm sure we can arrange some other way.
That's King Lear to you. We still retain the name and all the additions to a king. Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose.
You are free to discuss your problems in front of the patients and staff. However, the cardinal rule, and I must emphasize this, everyone keeps their seat during the meeting.
The tempest in my mind doth from my senses take all feeling else, save what beats there. I'm talking about form. I'm talking about content. I'm talking about God, the devil, hell, heaven. Do you understand?
Okay, here we go. 'Tis the infirmity of his age.
That can tell me who I am.
I am better than thou art. I'm a fool, thou art nothing.
Son dog, you slave, you cur. Dost thou call me fool, boy?
All thy other titles thou hast given away. That thou wast born
Take heed, Sirrah, the whip.
Oh, get over yourself, Lear. You're as crazy as he is. You run around naked in a hurricane, then you complain that you're cold and wet.
Detested kite.
You think you're easy to live with? This You're all licensed fool, and you breaking forth in rank, and not to be endured riots?
She hath looked black upon me, struck me with her tongue.
Now, Mr. Lear, therein the patient must minister to herself.
I have a surgeon. I am cut to the brains. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Stick right!
Remember
Oh,
these?
you are fucking strong! Had I used tongues and eyes, I'd use them for the heavens vulture black. Kill!
Orderly, code blue!
Throw physics at the dogs. I'll have none of it.
Hand me, gentlemen, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me.
Bang! I want to be sedated.
Orderly!
Every time I go see Macbeth, I really don't care about anything but watching how they do the witches. And these are the 5 ways I think they should do the witches. Number 1, the witches are stagehands in tech for the play Macbeth.
Hey, Light Booth. When shall we 3 meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
Oh.
That will be ere set of sun lights up a little.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth. Oh, there you are. Look, for the next scene thou shalt be king hereafter.
Okay, this is the most Twilight Zone one. The witches are 8-year-old girls.
The
Weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus to go about, twice to thine and thrice to mine, thrice again to make up 9. Peace the charms wound up.
Oh, hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thorn of Cawdor!
Macbeth shall never vanquished be, till great Burnham would to high Dunsinane come again to him.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute! Laugh to scorn the power of men!
For none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Number 3. 3 women are drinking Cosmos in a fancy New York bar.
I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid.
Number 4. The witches are running a TV game show.
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
All hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
I won!
And now for final jeopardy, the answer is, this Thane shall lead a charmed life.
Oh, I know this one. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon me.
So sorry, but you have to phrase it as a question.
Number 5. The witches are housewives in a TV commercial selling laundry detergent in hell.
For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble. Out, damn spot.
I got kicked out of my Shakespeare class in college. The professor was a vain and pompous man who used to force us to write on topics like, how did Shakespeare use the English language? And I'm like, look, man, Shakespeare didn't use the English language. Shakespeare invented the English language because he had to. 16th century English didn't give him much to work with. When you're an illiterate peasant, you don't really need a big vocabulary to say, yes, my lord, No, my lord. My wife died of the plague, my lord. If all you have to talk about is the life of an illiterate peasant, you don't need more than a few hundred words to get by. And the only literate ones were the priests and the princes. And they usually spoke in Latin or French because English was such a common language. But the printing press changes everything. This was the machine that made Shakespeare possible. He is writing plays when language is exploding. So when his characters have to tell the truth about themselves, they have to use strange new words, bizarre idioms, ridiculous turns of phrase, like they were speaking in tongues. There were thousands of English words that Shakespeare just made up, like an Elizabethan Dr. Seuss. So I'm sorry, Professor, but Shakespeare wasn't using the English language. He was just making it up as he went along and calling it English. So to get my revenge for the C- I got in that class, I'll tell you a story. Back in the day, when I was 25, I lived in Little Rock, Arkansas, and my friend Chris wanted to be an actor. So he went off to audition in New York, and he came back in love. He met a brilliant actress from London, an apprentice with the Royal Shakespeare Company, and she was coming to Arkansas to visit him. And Chris couldn't understand what she saw in him until he figured it out. This is a rebellion that high-class British girls have to live through.
Hello, Mummy. Hello, Papa. I shan't be coming home yet because I have a mediocre American boyfriend, and this weekend you shall be playing miniature golf and eating barbecue and drinking Budweiser in the back seat of a Chevrolet. Take that, Mummy. Take that, Daddy.
And for the crowning glory of the weekend, Chris was going to take her to a minor league baseball game. And the night before she arrives, he tells me,
Dude, you got to be my wingman. You got to come to the game with us. You got to have me like put out a constant stream of baseball chatter so I can be her authentic American boy,
And
so I can translate it for her.
so we get prepared. We fill up index cards with every strange word, every bizarre idiom, every stupid baseball phrase that we have ever learned from Dennis Eckersley or Joe Castiglione.
Okay, say there's a high pop fly. That's
A can of corn
derivation.
refers to grocery clerks who knocked a can off the top shelf. It drops straight down. An easy catch. A can of corn.
Okay.
And we're filling up 40, 50 index cards. God, she is going to be so impressed as we go into a Pentecostal rant, and Chris is able to mansplain it to her. And the day arrives, a midsummer daydream, and the cold beer and the hot dogs are proof that there is a God who loves us very much. And there's this beautiful British girl sitting between us. Her name is Sarah Wentworth, taking in the quaint American rituals, the silly mascots, and the bobblehead giveaways, and the organist is playing a polka version of Stairway to Heaven. And with the first pitch, thwack, the violence of a 95-mile-an-hour fastball hitting the glove, and Sarah's eyes widen as we begin speaking in tongues. Ooh-wee, that ball's got some smoke
Come
on it.
on, baby, bring the heat.
Come with the ace of spades right up in his
He
eyes.
can't hit what he can't see.
Strike two on the inside corner. Baby, that's a jam
He
sandwich.
cannot get around on the inside cutter.
He cannot handle that funky cheese. Now, come on, baby. Put him away.
Find that letter, elevate,
Strike three.
bring him up and sit him down.
Got him looking at the Linda Ronstadt pitch. And Sarah is genuinely frightened.
The Linda Ronstadt pitch?
And Chris smiles.
Yeah, the Linda Ronstadt pitch refers to a fastball that blew by you. I didn't make
And
it up.
she beams at him like she's just read the footnote in the Pelican Shakespeare, that the phrase belongs to her now. And the next batter is getting nothing but curveballs. I mean, this guy's throwing some filthy junk. Here comes the deuce.
The frisbee.
The trapdoor slider.
Say hello to Captain Hook.
That's right. Drop the yellow hammer on him.
The yellow hammer?
Oh, yeah, the yellow hammer bird dives steeply on its prey. This describes a 12-6 curveball that drops sharply through the strike zone.
The yellow hammer.
The yellow hammer.
Oh.
And her eyes are shining. It's the way you feel when you hear good Shakespeare. You don't have to translate every archaic phrase. You get pulled in by the rhythm and the passion of it all. And for Sarah Wentworth, this is just Shakespeare in reverse. And with 2 outs, the Tulsa batter smokes a hotline drive to left center, and it's headed for the gap when the outfielder comes in from stage left to stab it for the 3rd out. Oh, nice. He got on his horse and ran down the fly, showing some range in the field.
He shaded to center and got a good jump, taking a double away.
And Sarah suddenly sits up.
You know, you're speaking in blank verse.
And she's right. You know, this is the natural rhythm of English poetry, the steady heartbeat. Bum, 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 bum. The Assyrian came down like the wolf on the fold, and his cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold.
I will not eat them in a boat. I will not eat them with the goat.
And of course, baseball is spoken in the same language as Shakespeare. It has the same adrenaline, the same ecstasy. And you can just hear the messenger rushing in to tell the king.
My liege, he got on his horse and ran down the fly, showing some range in the field. He shaded to center and got a good jump, taking a double away.
And I swear, I once heard Jerry Remy report from spring training.
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York.
And Sarah is marveling at him like Miranda in The Tempest. She has discovered America, a race of noble savages who speak in iambic pentameter.
Oh, wonder. How many goodly creatures are there here? Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
And we go to the bottom of the 1st, and the leadoff hitter hits a wicked chopper up the middle, but the shortstop can't find the handle. It's a comedy of errors.
Oh, that ball ate him up.
Oh, that he booted it.
It's an E5 for those of you scoring at home.
And Sarah is looking at Chris like the fairy queen in love with an ass.
Oh, speak, I pray thee, gentle mortal, speak again. Mine ear is much enamored of thy speech. The summer still doth tend upon my state, and I do love thee.
And the next batter lays down a wicked little dribbling bunt down the 3rd base line. It's one of those Macbeth ground balls, because fair is foul and foul is fair. And the next batter hits a weak little flare into short center.
Oh, it's a dying quail.
It's the SS Titanic,
What?
because it's a sinking liner.
Ah!
And it drops for a hit.
A hit, a palpable hit. And now even Sarah's learning her lines.
Oh, a base hit by any other name would smell as sweet.
And when the dust settles, the bases are loaded. The table is set.
No place to put him.
Ducks on the pond. And I can hear Sarah whisper.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene.
Then should the clean-up hitter, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment.
And it's a swing and a drive. Way back. Way back.
Oh, Toledo. Good night, Irene.
Open the window, Aunt Minnie, because this one's coming home for dinner.
Break out the rye bread and mustard now, Grandma, because this one's a grand salami.
He hit the big fly. A 4-run jack.
Potato.
Dinger.
Rim-a-lim-a ding-dong.
Ding dong, the pitch is dead.
Goodbye, Mr. Spaulding. It's raining baseballs in Borneo.
Hasta la vista, senor pelota. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. And Sarah Wentworth is gone. She is going to quit the Royal Shakespeare Company just to follow minor league baseball with this guy.
Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this day as a winged messenger of heaven.
And everything is perfect until the top of the sixth, when Chris makes a mistake. He goes off to the concession stand at the very moment that I have run out of index cards. And Sarah is sitting there expecting me to keep going, and I have no choice but to start making it up. You know, it's like that nightmare you have where you're in some obscure history play like King John or Henry VI, Part 1, you know, and like you just have to forget your lines and you just have to start faking it. Thou varlet, thou hellhound, now shall the rage of heaven berack thy cursed house and orphan thy posterity withal. That's pretty good, huh? Hey, I'd buy it. Oh, come on. If you heard that in the middle of two noble kinsmen, you wouldn't stand up and object. Oh, you wouldn't know the difference. So I just have to keep going like, come on, man. That's right. Fry him up a donut. Give that man a straw for his grape soda. Come on, baby. Whip the donkey with a noodle. And Chris comes back with more beer, but Sarah's getting suspicious.
But Chris, darling, what does it mean to whip the donkey with a noodle?
And he looks at me in panic. And I'm trying to signal him that I've just told her that this refers to a batter who fouls off an endless succession of pitches. Which is pretty good, right? I mean, that should be a real phrase. They should start using that on ESPN. Like, yeah, and here comes the 10th pitch of the at-bat. And Durant fouls off another one. Man, he's wearing this pitcher down. This kid sure knows how to whip the donkey with a noodle. Oh, come on, that's genius. That deserves to be part of the canon. You see, this is the invention of language. But Chris goes in a different direction.
Yeah, to whip the donkey with a noodle means it refers to the sidearm motion of a submarine pitcher.
Use it in a sentence.
And with the left-hander Matsui on deck, here comes Javi Lopez out of the bullpen to whip the donkey with a noodle.
Also plausible. But it's too late. She's on to us.
This isn't real baseball talk, and you're not real American boys. You're just a couple of phony intellectuals, and I can have plenty of those back in London, thank you very much.
And she threw back to Heathrow the next day. Oh no, it was a twin killing, a rally-ending double play. Out! Out, brief candle. Life's but a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
There's a lot of great voicemail in Shakespeare. People are always trying to leave messages for each other, but they get confused. They throw words into the air like carrier pigeons, only to see them fly off in the wrong direction. The plays are all based on communication errors. Like if only Romeo had checked his messages, he would have known. Like when Banquo speaks to the witches. The witches are all over Macbeth. You will be the king. And Macbeth is like, king? And all I have to do is give you my credit card number? Okay, all right. But then Banquo gives them the best voicemail message of all time. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither begs nor fears your favors nor your hate. Boop. But when I put that soundbite into my outgoing message, no one seems to appreciate it. Okay, in Julius Caesar, Brutus leaves this greeting for Cassius.
What you have said, I will consider. What you have to say, I will with patience hear and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Boop.
Michael, is this your number? Honey, I think you need a shorter message. This is so confusing. No one understands what you're saying. Oh, this is your mother. Bye-bye.
See, this is so frustrating. My loved ones have no problem giving their minds to TV commercials 30 seconds at a time, but oh no, I give them 30 seconds of Hamlet and they get offended. Like that great voicemail where he asked the ghost to leave a message.
Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned, be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. Oh, answer me. Boop.
Dude, what was that? Was that from a movie? Look, if you're going to do movie dialogue, you got to do Apocalypse Now, right? Are you an assassin? You're an errand boy sent by grocery clerks. Call me.
It's like Shakespeare isn't good enough for voicemail. Like Buckingham in Richard III. He tries to rile up the crowd, but they just gape at him and drool because only the town crier, the recorder, is allowed to talk in public.
No, so God help me, they spake not a word, but like dumb statues or breathing stones gazed on each other and looked deadly pale, which when I saw, I asked what meant this willful silence. The answer was, the people were not wont to be spoke to, but by the recorder. Boop.
In As You Like It, Rosaline freaks out when she finds her boyfriend is coming. She's dressed like a boy. She's living in the woods, and she hasn't had her hair done in weeks. So she calls her best friend in a panic.
Alas the day, what shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Where went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? What remains him? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word. Boop.
You know what Shakespeare is really good for? Aggression, threats, fuck you messages. In my job as a union lawyer, I get hostile voicemails from management. Surrender, Dorothy. We're gonna squash you like a bug.
Obey our will, but presently do thine own fortunes that obedient right which both thy duty owes and our power claims, or both my revenge and hate loosing upon thee in the name of justice without all terms of pity. Speak thine answer.
Boop. And I call Elon Musk back. The sum of all our answer is but this. We would not seek a battle as we are, nor as we are. We say we will not shun it. So, tell your master. Boop. Don't you just hate it when people max out your mailbox, like they ramble into the voicemail for minutes and you have to scroll through it until you get to the next one? Get to the point. Juliet had this problem. She sends her nurse to find out if that Romeo boy likes her. But when she comes back...
Oh, I am aweary. Give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache. What a jaunt have I.
Nay, come, I pray thee, speak. Good nurse, speak.
Jesu, what haste. Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath?
How art thou out of breath when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make of this delay is longer than the tale thou dost excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Boop.
King Lear is really a play about call waiting. He calls his daughter, but she won't pick up. How much sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a child dump you into voicemail.
Deny to speak with me? They're sick, they're weary, they have traveled all the night? Mere fetches, the images of revolt and flying off. Go fetch me a better answer.
Boop.
but for sheer lazy, God, I just woke up. Snooze alarm voicemail. You can't do better than Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream.
I have had a dream. Past the wit of man to say what dream it was. Man is but an ass if he go about to expound this dream. The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen, man's hand is not able to taste, his tongue to conceive, nor his heart to report what my dream was. When my cue comes, call me and I will answer.
Thank you. This has been Hallucinating Shakespeare with Daniel Berger-Jones, Anna Waldron, and me, Michael Anderson. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Michael, you want to help?
Yep, all
Put my
good.
The props here. Your bag of props.
Good job, everybody.
Delightfully mesdames. Bloody deed and desperately dispatched. I think it's the bag. I'm assuming it's the bag.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you so much.
Michael's is correct.
Yeah, everything in the duffel bag.
Do you want to find your bag?
Thanks a lot, Jason. Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all Michael. Yes, it is.
Did you guys done drunk Shakespeare at Somerville?
What, say it again?
Late mother-in-law, and I can't send this to her. Was a English teacher. She taught, it wasn't grammar, she taught literature.
Oh, I haven't sat there in 3-4 years.
Yeah. It was.
Well, I sometimes when you do one-line wonders, we call people out of the audience to, yeah, it's like we give them the text and they show up and they're standing on there all nervous.
Sold my piece in it.
The drunkenness.
Yeah, they're-
It's crazy,
on
right?
Amazon, yeah.
It's very strange to be on stage wasted. It's the only time I've ever done it, but
Shakespeare.
Oh, so good.
She showed up at her place.
Sad that it went south. Sorry.